Hey everyone! Welcome to the Milk and Honey YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be walking you through how to make your very own Sawtooth star block. Today I'll be showing you how to make the 6-inch variation. If you'd like to make a different size, I have a previous video that shows you how to make the 4-inch block. Or on my Etsy, I do have a pattern you can download that measures 4, 6, and 8 inches. If you'd like to make one of your own, just keep watching. I'll have all the materials and dimensions listed in the description. Let's get started. Starting with fabric A, you're going to need 1 4 1/4 inch square. You will also need 4 2-inch squares. For fabric B, you will need 4 2.5-inch squares. Finally, from fabric B, you will need 1 3.5-inch square. Now we're going to start by making our flying geese. So we're going to take our 4 2.5-inch squares of fabric B, and we're going to make sure that they're facing wrong side up. We're going to take our ruler and a marking pen, and using our 45-degree line, we're going to draw a diagonal line on each of these pieces. Just like that. So we're going to do this on the other 3 pieces. Okay. So now that we have our pieces marked, we're going to take our 4 1/4 inch square of fabric A and 2 of our marked squares. So we're gonna just put these 2 aside. And we're going to take one and we're gonna put it on the bottom right-hand corner, making sure that right sides are facing if you are using a pattern fabric. And maintaining this line, we're going to put the other square in the top left corner. So you can pin these into place if you'd like. You're going to take this to your sewing machine and you're going to sew 1/4 inch away from both sides of the line. So now that it's sewn, we're just going to take our ruler and rotary cutter and line up the edge of the ruler with the line that you drew. And you're going to cut your block in half. So now you'll have 2 pieces. You're going to take this to your iron and iron it to fabric B, just like this. And you're going to do that to both of these pieces. So now that these are both pressed, what we're going to do is put one of these aside. And we're going to take one of our other marked squares, and on this remaining 90-degree corner, we're going to put our 2.5-inch square so that the marked line meets up with the corner here. Just like this. So you can pin it into place, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch away from both sides again. So it should be looking something like this. And once again, we'll take our ruler and rotary cutter, split this in half. And now when you open this up, you're going to iron it again to fabric B, and you're going to have a flying geese. Just like that and that. So you're going to repeat this step on your remaining pieces to create a total of 4 of these flying geese. So now that these are pressed, I'm just going to check to make sure that these are the right size for the 6-inch block, which I'm making. Right now they should be measuring 2 inches by 3.5 inches. So I got 3.5 on that side and that side. This one, I'm like maybe 1/8 of an inch off, just 2 and a bit. So I'm gonna show you how to trim these down. So the important thing with flying geese is maintaining your seam allowance on this edge here if you want to have nice sharp points on your block. So we're going to cut this by locating the 1/4 inch line on our ruler, which will be this one right here. We're going to line that up with the block and make sure the whole block is lined up, not just this point here. So I'm 2 inches. So I'm just gonna trim this little bit off here. Just like that. And now, perfect, 2 inches. So the final thing we're going to do is just trim off these, which are called ears. So we're not going to touch the block at all. We're just going to take off those tiny little triangles. And you can use a pair of scissors. That's what I usually use because it's a little quicker. So I am now going to make sure the rest of my blocks are all squared up. Now we can start putting our block together. So we're going to take our fabric B 3.5 inch piece. We're going to put it in the middle. Then we're going to take our 4 2-inch pieces of fabric A and place them like this in the corners. And then we're going to take our flying geese and we're going to make fabric B meet up with fabric B. Just like this. You can see where it's going. So to put this together, if you are already familiar with quilting techniques of piecing, you can go ahead and do what you'd like. I'm just going to show a technique that I really like. So we're going to take our middle block and flip it so that the right sides are facing on all 3. Like this. So we'll take this to our sewing machine. Starting with this top one, we're going to sew a 1/4 inch away from the edge. We're not going to cut our thread. We're just going to continue sewing with the next piece, a 1/4 inch, and this piece. So there should be little threads attaching all of these together, and then we'll cut our thread at the end. So I'm going to go do that now. So now you should have something that looks like this. So it may look a little silly, but what you're going to do is just flip open the pieces. So you want this piece, the seam, to go towards fabric A. This one, the seam will want to go towards fabric B. And this one again, fabric A. So you can either iron it now or wait to iron it. I'm just going to quickly press this. So it's all pressed. My iron got a little mad at me. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, flipping the pieces so the right sides are facing. And we're going to sew down the side using a 1/4 inch seam allowance without cutting the thread. Okay, so again, we're going to open this up so this seam is facing fabric A, this one, fabric B, and fabric A again. So I'm going to take this to the iron. So you're going to have something that looks like this. So what we're going to do is take this top piece here, we're going to flip it to the middle. I like to just snip these threads at this point because I don't need help making sure my pieces are in the right spot because we're going to sew this down. So I'm going to flip it over right sides facing. And we're going to nest our seams, make sure that they line up nice and close. And I like to take a pin and just put it in diagonally to hold it into place. We're going to do the same thing on this seam here. So we'll take this to our sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch. So now when you open it, it's going to have nice sharp corners here and here. We're going to flip this over and do the same thing on this side. So now that this is all sewn down, you can either press your seams open or to the side. So after it's ironed, it'll look something like this. And there you have it, your very own Sawtooth star block. It's ready to go for any project that you want to put it in. If you liked today's video, please make sure to like and comment on the video. It means a lot to me to be able to do this, to create sewing related content. If there's a block that you'd like to learn how to make, please leave it below. I'd love to make a tutorial video for you. And thank you so much for watching.